Urban Crag Climbing Center is a rock gym located in Dayton, Ohio, with 8,000 feet of textured and sculpted vertical terrain ranging from 28 to 56 feet. For more info, go to urbancrag.com or call 937-224-CRAG. There's a guy who was on our Real Dayton Real Talk show 2 weeks ago. He has started a boycott Kroger movement.
Oh, yeah.
We talked also on that show that 78,000 people in Dayton live in a food desert. Mm-hmm. And recently, I believe it was last week, Kroger, there was plans that said there's probably going to be a big super Kroger out on Austin Pike, that giant suburbo outward further
sprawl
manifest destiny thing they've got going on out there. And he feels that Kroger's treatment of the city of Dayton is classist and racist, and that they leave us with the worst Kroger stores with the least selection, and they completely abandoning neighborhoods like the Gettysburg Kroger. Mm-hmm. Anytime I was over in the Gettysburg Kroger, there was always a line, because they're surrounded by people, and a lot of elderly at that Gettysburg Kroger. That's no longer there. And so is Kroger racist? Or are they just going where the money is, like
everybody else?
Yeah.
I mean, Kroger's not alone. Look at you go into any poor neighborhood, whether it be poor black or poor white, there's always terrible grocery stores. Like you said, it's a food desert. You can't get the fresh produce, quality produce. You don't get the good options, the healthier options. You get the sugar-laden, high fructose corn syrup If you go up Main Street, there's a nice mix of people there. It's not just blacks. It's poor, kind of everybody, old people. Mm-hmm. The Save-A-Lot is horrible. People's Market is horrible. When Russ's Market was open, it was horrible.
Russ, they stuck in there for a while, but man, I've seen some vegetables in there.
Russ's is the place. When I lived on East Riverview, Russ's was the place I went to buy, smokes and beer and things in cans.
That's what a lot of people do.
and even I didn't want to buy the things in the cans sometimes. Yeah. But it was close by, but the selection was absolutely terrible. I had to drive 25 minutes up to Meijer. It was really the closest decent grocery store where I lived on Main. But I don't think it's I think it's class, I think it's race, and I don't think it's just Kroger's. I think it's everywhere. We were just noticing all the brand new Dollar General buildings that are going up everywhere. Those aren't going up in the nice neighborhoods. Those are going up in the bad neighborhoods, or not bad, but poor neighborhoods.
Where poor folks live, so, and the selections. It's
that's what your choice is, right there.
If you make, America go at the minimum wage level, or,
barely
above minimum wage, you're going to be able to only afford to live in a neighborhood where, often the food options are completely minimal, very unhealthy,
expensive.
The produce, I've heard Reverend Jerome McCrory say, a lot of tests in schools, are biased because they have questions like, what color is a banana? The kids from my neighborhood all want to answer brown because that's the color of the bananas in the grocery stores in their neighborhoods. Right. We talk about this thing being a class thing, but I can't see where it's not a call, to religious leaders in the area because of money. You have an entire class of people that are deserved of all these great things. We're supposed to take care of the poor. Everyone's running around with their flags saying, this is a Christian nation, brother.
And we talk about equality and freedom, and just like that guy was talking about that you did the free speech thing last week, talking about if something's good enough for one group, then it should be good enough for all.
Someone has to bring this up. Few people kind of in the left-leaning social justice movement locally. Dayton Daily News, I think, did a good job of bringing it up and pointing this out. It's a serious societal issue. It's costing us, I don't know how many gazillion dollars in medical uses because people are just filling their bodies full of GMO, high fructose corn syrup,
empty
fat. Like, the meat is just like the American hamburgers nowadays are just have a massive fat content to them. It's
let
all out
alone
of
everything
control.
else wrong with American beef. We don't need to go there now.
Yeah, so all you church folks out there, if you are really the church folks that you say you are, you need to be out banging on Kroger's proverbial doorstep and saying, bring these folks in the cities some options too.
Mm-hmm.
Besides like the worst of the worst and the dirtiest of the dirty. Mm-hmm. Once you start to treat people and offer them class things, then the whole environment changes. People become jaded towards society, living in places where all the options are subpar. They're basically telling them, oh, you're subpar.
I always allude to North Main because it's devastating and we live near it.
Yeah.
And we see it every day. I hate to see those kids walking through those streets because how is anybody supposed to feel positive, hopeful about life if that's what they're surrounded by every single day? They're surrounded by abandoned houses, half-burnt down houses, boarded up old businesses for blocks and blocks and blocks. They grow up to be people who don't give a shit. They become burdens on society because they haven't had a reason to not be, or they have been pushed into that because of socioeconomic factors that they have no other options.
Well, they've never viewed the world from
another
angle.
They don't have. No one's ever. How would they get that other angle?
It's very hard.
When you watch TV, the prescriptions for personality types that we're all supposed to fit into somewhere. Mm-hmm. Tell young black males that they are rappers or athletes. It's been like that for decades. It's still that way. These are not people who should be heroes or
how about authors,
role models necessarily.
Lawyers,
how about scientists?
doctors,
how about Neil deGrasse Tyson? How about Eric Dyson?
We could go on and on with names.
So it's a whole bigger thing.
Yes, we have to change mindsets among not only people in devastated communities, which a lot of times their mindsets are the way they are, justifiably so. We need to give them a little bit of that.
And it's because business has neglected that.
Yeah.
Krogers doesn't want to go and put a Kroger there right at Santa Clara. Because it looks like hell there. Mm-hmm. But that neighborhood needs a nice grocery store. It needs so many other things.
They need a business district. They need a business district that they can be proud of, and that's going to take.
And that offers them actual.
And that little spot there too, that would take, I think, a full-time police officer. Mm-hmm. And that would about do so many things for a small district like that. Mm-hmm. To have like an officer on the street, like there's always like a policeman out there. I mean, can you imagine? People would want to go do something like in this shop, like, oh, there's always the police down there.
Yeah.
Or small things like that. So I could go on and on and on all night.
Everything is so intertwined.
It's really
so hard
folks.
To pick one thing out and say this is the cause and this is the solution because there's just so many other things from every other side.